Hey YouTube, what is chill? It's your old pal Fluffshit back here with another video, and today is the 20th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks. It is 9/11/2021, and while it's while it's always interesting to reflect on those attacks, one of the great tragedies of the 21st century so far, I think it may be even more, it may be maybe more appropriate that I reflect on what's happened recently, which has fallen out of the national conversation in the past couple weeks as the smoke has cleared a little bit, which is the developments in Afghanistan with the Taliban takeover shortly following the U.S.'s departure announcement. This was the date, September 11th, 2021, that President Joe Biden said we should get all of the combat forces out of Afghanistan. He wanted them all out by today. And while it's a laudable goal, and perhaps getting out of Afghanistan is the right idea, one has to, think why it happened the way it did. So much of the horror of what recently happened in Afghanistan was very avoidable. And I have been silent on this, admittedly, not because I'm afraid to criticize the executive I so outwardly supported in the last election cycle. That's not it at all. What it is, actually, is that I didn't feel that in a flurry of news and especially rapid news cycle with all of these horrific developments, I didn't feel that my voice was the one that really needed to be heard. But now that it's starting to fade from the conversation a bit, I think it'd be an interesting time to bring it up. I think you can probably take from what I've said before that I certainly disapprove of the way everything in Afghanistan was handled. Especially the nature of the announcement of the operation. Why was this announced to, national and international media? Why couldn't this have been something to maybe relay to the Pentagon? And then maybe, advise generals in Afghanistan to deal with on a micro level? That's what I'm wondering about. Because that announcement surely encouraged the Taliban, now that they know that the United States is leaving. They know that the Afghan military force will inevitably be a bit weaker without that extra, strength in numbers. If I'm being honest. And they swept through the country. They took over. And it's scary for a lot of Afghanis, I would imagine, because they're trying to paint themselves as a new Taliban, a more egalitarian Taliban. I personally don't really buy it. They're enforcing many restrictions against women. In all likelihood, they will find a way to restrict women's education, which would be awful. And they recently said that the women's national rugby team will not be allowed to play. So they are certainly placing restrictions on women in sports. It's concerning. It's extremely concerning. When you think about GDI, Gender Development Index, which is a rough indicator of how much gender equality there is in a country, that in all likelihood will plummet because of the recent developments with the Taliban. I believe that the women of Afghanistan are in particular danger here, if not, all the citizens, certainly, because, the Taliban is a terrorist organization that is trying to now run a country. You don't know at what point they could just, they could decide to commit a genocide at the drop of a hat. It's frightening. I think it's good that as many people got out as... It's good that, enough people, that how do I put this? It's good that as many people as were airlifted out were, but it's still awful. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Let me know what you think. Till next time, this is your old Pavlov Ship signing out. So long, everyone. Goodbye.